Hello and welcome back to Think in English, the podcast that helps you start thinking in English. I'm your host, Alex.
And I'm Ben. I've had my coffee, so I'm ready to go.
That's all we can ask for. Today, we're diving into the holy grail of language learning, how to stop translating in your head and start actually thinking in English.
Ah, yes, the final boss. It's that mental traffic jam where you have a brilliant thought in your native language, but by the time you translate it, the conversation has moved on and everyone's talking about cats.
Exactly. It's the difference between being a participant and being a spectator. I remember my first trip to London. I tried to order a coffee by translating a sentence directly from my language.
Oh no, how did that go?
It came out something like, "I desire 1 vessel of the hot bean water." The barista just stared at me for a full 10 seconds before saying, "So, coffee?" I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. Laughs, hot bean water. I'm going to start using that. But that's the perfect example of the problem, right? The translation roadblock. It is, and that's what we want to help you smash through today. So why is this so important? When you're constantly translating, your brain is doing double the work. It's like running every conversation through a very slow, very confused interpreter who lives in your head.
Right, a very confused interpreter.
First, you have to process what you heard in English, then you translate it to your native language, then you form a reply in your native language, then you translate that back into English, all while trying to remember grammar and vocabulary. It's exhausting.
And it creates that awkward pause. You know the one. Someone asks you a simple question like, "How was your weekend?" And you just freeze. Your mouth is open, the gears in your head are grinding so loud you think people can hear them. The dreaded buffer face. The buffer face, exactly. And by the time you've constructed the perfect sentence, "My weekend was quite satisfactory, thank you," they've already moved on. It kills any chance of being spontaneous or funny.
It really does. Fluency isn't just about having a big vocabulary. It's about speed and natural flow. Thinking in English is the key that unlocks that flow.
Okay, so before we get into the how, let's bust a few myths. What's the biggest one you hear, Alex?
Oh, easy. You have to live in an English-speaking country to think in English. It's just not true. It helps for sure, but it's not a requirement.
Totally. I know people who have lived in the US for 10 years and still order food by pointing and saying, "I want this." Immersion is a state of mind, not just a location.
It absolutely is. What's another one you've heard?
My favorite is that you have to be some kind of language genius, that you have to have a special language brain. To which I say, look at me. I am living proof that you do not need to be a genius. My brain's primary functions are remembering movie quotes and knowing when pizza's on sale.
It's a skill, not a superpower. It's about training your brain with consistent habits, which is a perfect segue into our first and maybe most important practical technique. Lay it on us. All right, technique number 1, start an inner monologue in English. This is the absolute best way to start because there is zero pressure. No one can hear you, no one can judge you.
Right.
You just narrate your life. As you're doing things, describe them to yourself in simple English. Okay, I'm getting out of bed, it is early, I'm walking to the kitchen, I need to make coffee.
My inner monologue is mostly, should I have another coffee? The answer is yes. This is good coffee. I should probably do some work now, or maybe I'll have another coffee.
And that's perfect because you're using the language for real functional thoughts. You're connecting words directly to actions and objects. You'll quickly realize which simple everyday words you're missing, like kettle or sponge or remote control.
Right, the stuff you use every day.
Exactly, you're building a foundation. Which brings us to technique number 2, word association.
Okay.
This is about breaking the habit of seeing an object, thinking of the word in your native language, and then translating it. Instead, you try to connect the object directly to the English word. Look at your phone. Don't think of its name in your language, just think phone. Look at your keys. Think keys.
I used to turn this into a game on my commute. I'd sit on the bus and just label things I saw outside. Red car, big tree, woman walking a tiny angry dog, man with a truly epic mustache. It sounds silly, but it really rewires your brain.
That's a fantastic way to do it. You're creating a direct link between the concept and the English word, cutting out the middleman. Your brain's confused interpreter can finally take a coffee break.
He's earned it. Poor guy.
So, once you're comfortable with your inner monologue and some word association, you can move on to technique number 3, immersive listening and shadowing.
This is where you start making English the soundtrack to your life.
Precisely. Listen to English podcasts, like this one, hello, or music. Watch TV shows and movies in English. The key is to surround yourself with the sounds and the rhythms of the language.
Right, even if you don't understand everything.
Especially if you don't understand everything. You're absorbing the cadence, the intonation, the flow. And to take it a step further, you can practice shadowing.
Ah, my favorite. This is where you basically become a parrot.
Yes, you listen to a sentence and you immediately repeat it, trying to copy the speaker's pronunciation and rhythm exactly. It feels weird at first, but it's incredible for your pronunciation.
A word of caution here. I once spent a week shadowing the Pirates of the Caribbean movies because I thought it would be funny.
I think I see where this is going.
Yeah, a few days later, I was in a meeting and my boss asked me a question, and without thinking, I replied, "Aye, that be the truth of it." The whole room went silent. I had to explain that I wasn't actually planning a mutiny, so maybe choose your shadowing material carefully.
That is priceless. A very, very good point. Maybe shadow a news anchor before you shadow a pirate captain.
Unless you want to get fired in the most memorable way possible.
All right, this leads us to our final big technique for today, which is a bit of a challenge. I call it the dictionary ban.
Ooh, sounds intense.
It's about forcing your brain to stay in English mode. When you encounter a word you don't know, your instinct is to grab your phone and look it up in a bilingual dictionary. I'm challenging you to stop doing that.
So what do you do? Just guess?
You try to understand it from context first. If that fails and you absolutely must look it up, use an English to English dictionary. A learner's dictionary is perfect for this. It forces you to think about the meaning in English using words you already know.
That makes sense. It's like
Keeping the whole operation in one language. And a great way to practice this is to try describing things when you can't remember the word. This is what kids do, and it's a powerful learning tool. Let's say you forget the word screwdriver. How would you describe it, Ben?
Okay. It's a tool. It's long and thin with a handle. You use it for screws. You put the end in the top of a screw and you turn it to make the screw go into wood. It's a screw turner, a twisty stick for metal spirals.
A twisty stick. Perfect. Anyone would understand what you mean. And in that process, you just used a dozen other English words and practiced forming sentences. You're problem solving in English. That is a massive step.
Yeah, okay, I see that. It's much more active than just looking up a one-word translation.
Exactly. And that leads nicely into our next technique, thinking in sentences.
Okay, so we've graduated from just thinking car to actually forming a whole thought about it. That car is driving too fast, or I wonder if that's the same pigeon I saw yesterday.
Precisely. You're moving from single words to actual thoughts. And a great way to practice this is technique number 6, the English-only zone. Now, we have to talk about the hard part, frustration, because this journey is not a straight line. There will be days where your brain just says, nope, not today, and defaults back to your native language.
Oh, 100%. Especially when you're tired or hungry or angry. I guarantee you, if you stub your toe really hard, your first thought is not going to be, oh dear, that was rather painful.
Absolutely not. And that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. You have to be patient with yourself. Some days your inner monologue will be fluent and brilliant, and other days it'll just be, I go store, need food. And both are fine.
It's like leveling up in a video game. You spend ages on one level and it feels impossible, but you keep trying and eventually you beat it. For me, the final boss was ordering a ridiculously complicated coffee at Starbucks. I'll have a venti, half-calf, soy milk, no-foam latte with an extra shot and a pump of vanilla. Saying that without my brain melting was a huge achievement.
That is a true sign of fluency right there. So to recap our main techniques, start that inner monologue, play the word association game, immerse yourself with listening and maybe some non-pirate shadowing,
Definitely non-pirate.
and try the dictionary band challenge. Start small, be consistent, and don't be afraid to sound silly.
Embrace the twisty stick for metal spirals phase of your learning. It's where the magic happens.
Well said. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Our challenge to you, our listeners, is to pick just one of these techniques and try it for the next week. Just one.
And we'd love to hear your own funny language learning stories. What's your hot bean water moment? Leave us a comment on our YouTube channel. We read all of them.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Think in English. Until next time,
Stop translating, start living the language.
bye everyone. See you next episode.